Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Asian Productivity Organization Presents Productivity Talk. I'm Kenji Watanabe, Multi-Country Programs Division. Nice to meet you, everyone. Today's topic is agricultural heritage for productivity. Agriculture is affected by local factors such as climate and land conditions. In the cases of unfavorable conditions for agriculture, our ancestors made great effort to enhance productivity with wisdom and innovative mind. There are many examples of such effort all over the world. Learning from such past experiences leads to enhance productivity in modern world. Today, we invited the best guest speaker on this topic, Mr. Akira Nagata. He is visiting research fellow, the United Nations University Institute for the Advanced Study of Sustainability, Japan. Mr. Nagata, thank you for coming today.
Thank you for your kind introduction, Mr. Watanabe. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. I'm Akira Nagata, visiting research fellow of UNU IAS.
Mr. Nagata, could you tell us your activities on agricultural heritage?
Yes, I have worked at the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries of Japan for a long time, nearly 40 years, on agricultural policy. And in 2010, I became involved with the United Nations University, so-called UNU. And in 2011, I was dispatched to UNU by the Minister of Agriculture. At the UNU, I worked as a coordinator of on-the-job research capacity building program for young agricultural researchers in developing countries, as well as conducting research on agriculture and on activities for the conservation and utilization of biodiversity.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nagata.
Sorry, still continue. In this context,
Okay.
I first learned about GIAS, globally important agricultural heritage systems, led by FAO. Everybody knows Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. When I visited the United Nations University in 2010 and took a strong interest in it. My boss, Professor Kazuhiko Takeuchi, Vice Rector of UNU at that time, proposed that GIAS, which was previously only applicable in developing countries, should be introduced to Japan as a developed country. And since then, I have been working on activities related to GIAS while making use of my human network with the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries. I already retired UNU a few years ago, and currently, as a visiting research fellow at UNU IAS or UIK. Actually, it has a very long name, United Nations University Institute for Advanced Study of Sustainability, Operating Unit Ishikawa, Kanazawa. I'm working to make GIAS known to wider people. And I am also in charge of the Secretariat of East Asia Research Association for Agricultural Heritage Systems, called ERAS, which conducts research exchanges on agricultural heritage systems and exchanges among people involved in GIAS designated sites in 3 countries in East Asia, namely China, Japan, and South Korea. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nagata. You mentioned GIAS of UN Food and Agriculture Organizations. Could you explain about it for us?
Yes. What is GIAS? GIAS is an abbreviation for globally important agricultural heritage systems. It mentions only agriculture, but the term used agriculture used by the FAO includes not only agriculture but also forestry and fisheries. In 2002, on the occasion of the World Summit on Sustainable Development, WSSD, Johannesburg, South Africa, FAO launched the Global Partnership Initiative on conservation and adaptive management of globally important agricultural heritage systems, called GIAS. I would like to explain about the selection criteria of GIAS from January 2017. Number one, food and livelihood security. The system should contribute to food and livelihood security of local communities. This is a kind of economical aspect. And number two, agrobiodiversity. The system should be rich in biodiversity and genetic resources of global importance for food and agriculture. This is a kind of environmental aspect. And number three, local and traditional knowledge systems. The system should maintain local and invaluable traditional knowledges and practices, ingenious adaptive technology, and management systems of natural resources, including biota, land, water, which have supported agriculture, forestry, and fisheries activities. This is a kind of technical or knowledge aspect. And number four, culture, value systems, and social organization. Cultural identity and sense of place are embedded in the site. Social organizations, value systems, and cultural practices should ensure conservation and fair use of natural resources. This is a kind of social aspect. And number five, landscape and seascape characteristics. Landscapes and seascapes should have evolved over a long period of time through the interaction between human and the environment. This is a kind of land use system or a landscape aspect. In addition to meeting these five criteria, GIAS applicants are required to prepare action plan for the dynamic conservation of their agricultural systems. Currently, GIAS has been designated 62 sites, 62 systems or areas in 22 countries of December 2021. Of which 40 systems, or about two-thirds, are in the Asia-Pacific region. Among the APO member economies, Bangladesh, India, Iran, the Philippines, and Sri Lanka are designated in addition to Japan and Korea. Here are three examples of GIAS from East Asia, China, Japan, and South Korea. The first is example of GIAS is in China, rice fish culture. This is a fish farming in wet rice field since Han Dynasty, about 2,000 years ago. This is a ecological symbiosis exists in this in the traditional rice fish agricultural system. This is a red carp, and this fish carp provides fertilizer to rice and regulates microclimate conditions in the paddy field and softens the soil, disturbs the water, and it makes it difficult for weeds to grow, and eats larvae and weeds in flooded fields. Of course, rice provides shade and food for fish. And multiple products and ecological services are beneficial to local farmers and the environment. Not only farmers, but also the environment. The high quality food of fish with very pure water and very clean, and the rice are helpful to maintain farmers' nutrient and living standard. The reduced cost and labor increase the productivity. So this is very important for productivity. Next one is example of just in Japan, Notozu, Satoyama, and Satoumi. This is the system that has a unique landscape, such as a terrace rice field, spreading on steep slopes, and the figure shows that Agehama salt making. The picture shows, and Ama fishing. This is a women diver fishing that have continued since the Edo period. Edo period is hundreds years ago. And the following points seem to be evaluated as just traditional agriculture, forestry, and fishing method, and land use, which protects biodiversity, which conserves biodiversity, and diverse biological resources in Satoyama and Satomi. I will explain later on. And spectacular Satoyama scenery and traditional technologies to pass on, and cultural and religious festivals related to farming, and Satoyama Satoumi youth and conservation activities. What is Satoyama and Satoumi? Satoyama is a term applied to a mosaic of socio-ecological systems such as villages, farmlands, secondary forest, artificial forests, grassland, bamboo groves, and irrigation ponds that have been formed and maintained through long-term human influence. Satoyama, synonym to the Satoyama, areas where people live and get their livelihood, and at the same time are often inhabited by a variety of species adapted to and rely on these landscapes to survive, landscape or seascape to survive, and to nurture their own culture. Hence, they play important role in sustaining and enhancing biodiversity. Satoumi, Satoumi is a term for coastal areas which have a long connection with people's livelihood, high productivity, and serve as a habitat to an abundant ecosystem that provides an important place to sea creatures and raise their fries. The next example is in Korea, Jeju, Batam agricultural system. Batam is a black stone wall called Batam, called Black Dragon. Is the result of the ingenuity of Jeju people to survive in a windy volcanic island since 1,000 years ago. Jeju, there's a very strong wind and also a lot of stones. Batam blocks of strong winds helps reducing evaporation, favoring seed sprout and soil erosion, but also helps separating cattle and horse from the fields. Farmers piled up the stones in the field because there is a lot of stone in the fields, in the soil around the fields to prevent the wind and also farm in the field with few stones. The stone wall has a structure strong against the wind with a slight gap. It also prevents horses and cows from eating crops. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Please, Watanabe-san.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nagata. Our ancestors made great effort to protect local agriculture from strong wind by using forest and stone wall, and enhanced productivity by using ecological function of forest. What are FAO's objectives to implement GIAHAS?
Yes, slide please. The overall goal of the GIAHAS program is to identify and safeguard globally important agricultural heritage systems and their associated landscapes, agricultural biodiversity, and knowledge system through catalyzing and establishing a long-term program to support such systems and enhance global, national, and local benefits derived through their dynamic conservation, sustainable management, and enhanced viability. Uh, this is defined by the FAO. And to achieve this overall goal, the main objectives of GIAHAS are to leverage global and national recognition of the importance of agricultural heritage systems and institutional support for their safeguard, and capacity building of local farming communities and local and national institutions to conserve and manage GIAHAS, generate income and add economic value to goods and services of such systems in a sustainable fashion, and to promote enabling regulatory policies and incentive environments to support the conservation, evolutionary adaptation, and viability of GIAHAS. This is also introduced by FAO. There are several expected effects of GIAHAS. The number one is branding. So the branding is value adding on agricultural products, GIAHAS products. This is very important. This means that people will pay a higher price for high quality products produced with the same amount of labor and cost. This is the increase. This means increase of productivity. And the second, promotion of tourism, especially agro-tourism, such as farmers in farming experiences. From the productive point of view, the same thing can be said about branding, as mentioned earlier. And third, and I believe this is the most important, is to restore the confidence, self-confidence, and pride of local residents, local people, by restoring the confidence and the pride of the local people, especially the younger generation, who are responsible for productivity, especially the sustainable productivity. We can ensure more sustainable productivity. Let me introduce some examples. The first example of just branding. In China, this is in Qindian County in China, the fish rice culture. Carp grown in rice fields, paddy fields, processed and branded as rice paddy fish and sell in a very good price to the tourists. And in Noto in Japan, products that nurtured in the Satoumi and Satoyama and Satoumi, and contribute to the conservation and succession of GIAS are designated as Noto's one product, and it is also GIAS branded. It is already certified a lot of agriculture and marine products designated as Noto's one product. In Jeju Island in South Korea, value is added to local agriculture product through so-called sixth industrialization, production, processing, and marketing integration of these three aspects. And they are also branded and sell to the tourists. Second example is just tourism. In Xinjiang, in China, farmers run a restaurant and welcome many tourists, very many tourists. In Noto, in Japan, also the local people promoting tourism by utilizing GIAS scenery. And this is a terraced paddy field, and also the festival, very traditional local festival. And also in Jeju Island, South Korea, this is the so-called stone walled road, Batam Road, has been established to increase the number of tourists. And the third one is an example of restoring the self-confidence and the pride of the local residents. I had an opportunity to conduct a survey at a local senior high school soon after Noto was designated as GIAS. And when I asked to the student if they were proud of GIAS designation, and if GIAS designation that lead to the revitalization of the local community, more than 80% of the students answered yes to both questions. Yes.
Okay. Objectives of GIAS are not only conservation of heritage, but also promotion of current agriculture through making brand and motivating local farmers. By the way, are there any other agricultural heritage systems than FAO's GIAS?
Yes. Slide, please. Yes. As for the unique agricultural heritage systems of each country, which are called nationally important agricultural heritage systems, in abbreviation NIAS. I would like to introduce NIAS of China, Japan, and South Korea in East Asia, where there are very more activities on agricultural heritage systems. First, in China, the system for designating important important agricultural heritage systems was launched in 2012, and already 138 systems in 6 times were designated. China NIAS emphasizes cultural aspect. The name also includes culture, agriculture, culture, heritage. And the second one, Japanese NIAS. In Japan, sorry, I would like to add something. So the China NIAS is characterized by its emphasis on culture. It also focuses on how to protect agricultural heritage from urban development and how to utilize it to increase income and promote rural economic development. And the second one is in Japan. A system to designate Japan Yes was established in 2016. And 22 regions, 22 sites area have been designated in 3 times so far. In Japan, in addition to GS criteria, Japan's own original criteria for Japan Yes includes resilience to change, participation of multi-stakeholders, local multi-stakeholders, and promotion of industrialization. Sixth industrialization means regional integration of production, processing, and marketing. There are almost no national government subsidies for Japan Yes, and the emphasis is on voluntary activities by local communities. And number three is in South Korea. The country's own agriculture and fisheries heritage system was launched in 2012, almost same time in China. And then in 2013, it was divided into 2 systems, agriculture and fisheries. The nationally important agricultural heritage and the nationally important fishery heritage, due to the division of ministries in charge of agriculture and fisheries. The fisheries heritage is unique in Korea in that it is independent. In other countries, there's no difference, agriculture and fisheries. Fishery or forestry is included in agriculture, but in Korea, fisheries is independent. So far, 16 heritage have been designated as Korean nationally important agricultural heritage, and 11 heritages have been designated as Korean nationally important fisheries heritage. Yes, agriculture means kias, and fisheries called kifas. One of the characteristics of Korea's agricultural heritage designation criteria is that they, in addition to GS designation criteria, they emphasize the local characteristic, such as local residents and local self-governing bodies. Regarding the examples of nationally important agricultural heritage systems called NIAS, the first one in China, it's a dry land terrace system of Shaxian County. This terraced fields covered more than 800 hectares and are divided into more than 50,000 blocks, very small blocks. The soil layer is less than 0.5 meters. In some parts, only 0.2 meters, 20 centimeters. The height difference is nearly 500 meters, so it's very steep. The terrace built with stones rich in crops such as millet, corn, Chinese pepper, persimmon, black dates. So there are a lot of species, crops in the fields. It is increasing local agricultural productivity, farmers' employment and income, rural stability and prosperity, as well as developing leisure agriculture. Yes, as well as developing, also maintaining ecological security and scientific research. They use donkey for transportation. And next one is an example of NIAS in Japan. Himi is the name of this area. Himi is set net fishing, set net or fixed net set fishing. Himi is set net fishing, which is friendly to the fisheries resources and also the environment, has been succeeded for more than 100 years as a model of set net fishing in Japan. So this set net fishing model spread all over Japan. And the brand of Himi Winter Yellowtail. Winter Yellowtail in Japanese, buri, is a very famous and known throughout Japan. And set net fishing or fixed net fishing has brought employment, and people have lived with agriculture, fish-bearing forest, and food culture, and belief with the sea. Technologies of set net fishing has spread overseas in recent years as a sustainable fishing method. This is just waiting this fish to come into the set net. Just waiting, the fishery waiting method for fishing. So it is very eco-friendly, very, and also the friendly to the resources, fish resources. And number 3, this is a very typical. This is the last one. This is focusing on fisheries heritage. The next one is forestry heritage. Example of NIAS in Korea, Gumganson Mountain Agriculture in Ulchin. This Royal Court organized the pine system and the forest system to manage the forest, and they create a very beautiful landscape of surrounding valley and unique shaped rocks. So the value such as historicity, livelihood, security, unique technology, traditional culture, landscape, biodiversity, and the resident participation and cooperative relationship with local government was evaluated by the authority. And the local people have lived with pine forest. They monitor forest fires and control pests and diseases also, and collect forest products such as mushroom, and their own under those activities are under their own management. This is a fisheries heritage. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Nagata. Each country's agricultural heritage system has point of interest of each country. That's interesting. Mr. Nagata,
Yes.
if the area is designated as GIAHAS, is large-scale development prohibited there?
It depends on the country. In Japan, the depopulation or is more serious. Depopulation or aging is more serious than urban development. So in Japan, they don't have such kind of restriction, prohibition. But I hear in China, still the urbanization is going on, and some development activities destroy their agricultural heritage, may destroy. So they have a very strict policy to stop stop the urbanization. They have some regulation, and in Korea also still some parts suffering from urban development. So they also have some rules, some regulation to prohibit development in agricultural heritage area. It depends on the country, but maybe in most countries, especially in developing countries, they have some regulation to stop the urban development, especially in the core area, in a very important area of designated agricultural heritage systems area.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Nagata. I think some viewers has interest in GIAHAS and want to have designation of GIAHAS. So in order to apply for the designation of GIAHAS, what should we do?
The first thing you should do is to visit FAO GIA's website. There are a lot of information, and also uh, they have some guidelines how to create the GIA's proposal. And so I think the first thing you should do is to visit FAO GIA's website, and they have a lot of much information, a lot of information on GIAS. So the first you should do is to know what is GIAS and just example all over the world, and learn from it and how to write a proposal, and then consult with the GIAS secretary in FAO. But at the same time, you need the kind of authorization by your own government, endorsement by the government. So at the same time, you also talk with your government authority, and of course, the most important thing is the local communities. You should discuss with local communities how to create GIS proposal. What is globally? You should find what is important. Uh, Important as the globally important. What is globally important, and the base of 5 criteria, and also you should create also action plan. Yeah, that's yes, many things.
Yeah, is there any obligation on local residents or local farmers if they get a designation of GIAHAS?
I think there's no obligation. The important thing is how to utilize this designation for their development. So I think no obligation, but how to think how to utilize the designation of GIAS to the regional development. For example, tourism or branding, and also, of course, restore the self-confidence and proud for especially for young generations.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, what is your best case of GIAHAS? I mean, what do you recommend people to visit and see? One, can you recommend one best case of GIAHAS for viewers?
Oh, it's a very difficult
Visit and
question.
see.
It's very difficult questions.
Your favorite one?
Yes, it's very difficult. Maybe every jazz has its own values. But I think these days on the website you can watch the video of the many jazz sites. Also, FAO's website also uploads many videos, not only photos but videos of jazz sites, and also I think many jazz sites, or government sites or jazz sites has also their own video. So before visiting actual places, you can watch a video to know to get the whole picture of jazz. Yes, it's very difficult to choose only one. Sorry.
Okay. So it's difficult for you to explain your your favorite one in front of public. I can imagine.
Yes, but again, in Asian Pacific area, especially East Asia, we have a lot of GIAS designated areas. As I told you, 2,000 are in Asia, and especially half of GIAS are in Japan, China, Japan, and South Korea. So Asian people very familiar, maybe very familiar to the GIAS than other areas. Yeah, you can visit after the corona pandemic.
Thank you very much. I will do so. So okay. Our P-talk is closing to finish. So, Mr. Nagata, please give a message to viewers.
Yes, slide please. Yes, as I told you many times, that GIAS is most active in East Asia areas region, and about half of GIAS designated sites are in the three countries: China, Japan, and South Korea. In 2013, the three countries agreed to establish East Asian Research Association for Agriculture Heritage Systems, ERAS, and the ERAS established in 2014 in China, among China, Japan, and the Republic of Korea. This is a very unique partnership of both the academia and the practitioners. I mean the local stakeholders of the GIAS site. Not only academic. The name is Research Association, but actually we have two tracks: academia and local stakeholders. And it stimulates research studies related to GIAS conservation, and also provides a platform to deepen exchange and collaboration. As you may know, we are very friendly countries. The friendly, our partners, our counterparts are very friendly. But unfortunately, to say that these three countries are sometimes not so friendly. So we focused on the research aspect, and we named it Research Association. But actually, the people communicate very friendly. Local stakeholders and researchers among the three countries very, very friendly to talk each other, to discuss each other. And we meet. So this we called it ERAS conference. ERAS conference have been held every year in rotation among these three countries. The first meeting was in Xinhua in China, 2014, and second one in Sado in Japan, and the third conference was held in Gumsan in Korea in 2016. The fourth meeting was conducted in Huzhou in China, 2017, and fifth meeting was conducted organized in Minabe town, Minabe area in Japan in 2018, and sixth conference was organized in Hadong, Korea in 2019. So we already 2 times rotation, and the seventh conference was scheduled to be organized in China in 2020, but unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we have not been able to hold the conference for the past 2 years, 2020 and 2021. But we are planning to hold the seventh conference in China next year. I have been in charge of the Japanese Secretariat since its establishment. GIAS has been attracting attention not only for SDGs, but also for global issues such as agroecology, biodiversity, climate change, family farming, and food systems, which FAO focuses on, as well as collaboration with other UN agencies such as UNESCO World Heritage Site. So the GIAS is GIAS is also linked to the United Nations Decade of Family Farming 2019 to 2028, and UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration 2021 to 2030, and UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development 2021 to 2030. Maybe, and also, of course, more UN activities related to UN activities. And also the International Conference on GIAS 2020 was very recently held in 25-27 November 2021 in Noto region of Ishikawa Prefecture to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the first designation of GIAS in Japan. That's very recently it was organized. And as I told you that I would like to encourage all of you who are participating today to take up the challenge. If there are any candidate areas or systems where you can apply for GIAS, maybe I can help you. If there is any information on productivity from GIAS designated sites which you can apply, I hope you can utilize the information actively. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Watanabe-san, and thank you very much, everyone, for your participation today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nagata. Before concluding this productivity talk, I would like to share you comment, not questions, from viewers. So the first comment is there are not so many GIAS sites for forestry and fisheries. So these places should be proposed for GIAS designations. So what is your opinion about this?
Yes, unfortunately, there are still some misunderstanding that the GIAS globally important agricultural heritage systems only focuses on agriculture, but this is misunderstanding. The forestry heritage and fishery heritage, it's also very important. We can know that the Koreans nationally important fisheries heritage systems. And in Japan, GIAS also has some forestry heritage and also fisheries heritage. As I told you that Himi's system is, of course, focusing on fisheries, and also Korean Gumsan on pine tree system is also fisheries, forestry systems. So not only agriculture system, but also forestry system and fishery system is also very important for our development, just development. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have one more comment, not questions. GIAHAS can provide a framework and opportunity for rural development. What do you think about this comment?
Pardon? Excuse me.
GIAHAS can provide a framework and opportunity for rural development.
Yes. For example, in Japan, 10 years ago, almost nobody knows about GIAHAS. But now, the National Agricultural Policy includes GIAHAS. So it is already nationally recognized. The policy of agricultural development by the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries already includes GIAHAS as their policy, national policies. So I think also in Korea they have some kind of law act including GIAHAS, and also the agricultural heritage system, and also China they have policy framework for agricultural heritage systems, focusing on very cultural aspects. So I think many countries already have kind of framework, including GIAHAS into their development policies.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Nagata.
Thank you.
And for your coming today and the informative presentations. So learning from the past is important for future. So please continue this activity and wish for your further success.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for viewers today. Please watch APO Productivity Talk again. Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.